Have you recently applied for a Schengen visa and your visa was refused? And you think you did everything right, yet your visa application was refused. I'm going to be talking about the real reasons why your visa was rejected, even when you think you did everything right. Now, this video will show you mistakes that are hidden in your visa application document. It would also show you, wordings that trigger visa rejection. It would also show you what embassies do not explain in the vague visa rejection letters or notices that they actually give to you. So you want to stick with me to the end because there's something here for everyone. The first thing I'm going to talk about is your travel itinerary. Now, there is a video where I talked about how you can prepare a travel itinerary for yourself. If you missed watching that video, I'm going to include the link here so you can go watch it. The reason why your Schengen visa was rejected was because your travel itinerary looks suspicious. And when the embassy requires you to include an itinerary, they actually want to know what you plan to do while on that trip. And you should actually include details. Now, details you're going to include would depend on the reason why you want to travel. Like, one person could be traveling for vacation and wants to visit 3 or more destinations, while you could be traveling for a conference and you are just going to be spending time in one destination. Or a third person could be traveling for an event, and maybe from the event they plan to visit 2 or more destinations, maybe let's say to relax or to unwind, or for whatever reason that they plan to be there. And when you're actually preparing your travel itinerary should actually tell a story. You'll provide detailed explanation to the visa application officer what you plan to do when you are there. Now, when you now have someone just go and prepare something for you, and then all of a sudden you now plan your trip based on what that person will prepare, you should understand that template that you're using, someone else has probably used it before and presented it to the embassy, and the embassy has seen it and knows it, and then you're presenting it, and then it looks generic, it looks suspicious, it looks as if it's not peculiar to you. So what must you do? You must plan your own trip based on why you want to travel. If you don't have a reason to travel, then it's difficult to convince anyone to give you a visa. Go and watch the video where I talked about how you can prepare your travel itinerary. Follow all the steps in that video, and you would find that you will be presenting a very good travel itinerary. Go to booking sites, book hotels that meet your budget, book hotels that are close to the activities that you want to engage in or where you want to be booked. So you want to customize your trip day by day. Every day that you spend in the Schengen area, you want to put it on paper and indicate the things that you are going to be doing there. It's very easy. I've explained it in that video. So go watch it, and then you would find out that you'll be presenting a very good detailed itinerary. So another reason would be that your bank statement shows suspicious activities. What do I mean? You had an empty bank account, maybe a bank account that was not active, and all of a sudden, because you're going to be traveling, suddenly you start seeing activities in the bank account, or maybe just huge deposits are paid into inactive bank accounts, and then you don't provide an explanation as to the source of that income. So you don't want to do that. Now, what must you do? You want to, if you know you're traveling, give yourself time, give yourself 6 months, where you can start planning. For most Schengen countries would require that you provide a 3 months bank statement. If you have an inactive bank account, start in month 4, between 4 to 6 months to start building your history, because if you're printing the 3 months bank statement, you must make sure that the history there predates the 3 months where you're going to be presenting. So you want to start building your bank record over time. Make sure you're presenting the bank account where you have activities. For example, if you're paid, if you earn a salary, just ensure that you are attaching the bank account where your money comes in regularly. Or even if it's a savings account, just ensure that you start building your record. You have money sitting in there long before your 3 months. It's not a case of, let's say you have a 3 months bank statement, but month 1, 2, no activity, month 3, you start having people put in a whole lot of money because you were going to present it to the embassy. It's not wise. Don't do it. Build your travel record, your bank statement over time, make it believable. Use your active bank account so they can see money coming in. They can also see money going out. They can see regular activities happening. And then if you have large deposits, you truthfully explain the source of that source of the deposits, and ensure that it's not something that would raise any red flags, or it's not something where you invited people. It's not a situation where you invited people to deposit money into your inactive bank account because you knew that you were traveling and you wanted to ensure that you had sufficient money to show as proof of funds. No, you have to establish the source of funds as well. Now, this is a reason why your visa application will be denied. Now, another reason is because the purpose of your trip was unclear. I know you would say, okay, tourism. Tourism is vague. You don't want to say you're just going on tourism. What do you plan to do? If you're traveling on vacation, then yeah, of course, tourism, you include details of the things you plan to do in the destination where you plan to visit. If you're going to, let's say you're applying to France and then you want to spend time in Paris, and maybe from Paris you're going to go to Nice, and let's say from Nice you're going to spend a few days in Monaco, have details of that trip. That's how it works. And that's why I'm saying, your travel itinerary will tell them the story. So even if you're going for tourism is vague, you're going on vacation, tell them what you plan to do when you're going to be in Paris. Where in Paris would you want to visit? Show that you have, actually done your own research. You've wanted places you've always wanted to visit and why you want to visit those places. Include that in your itinerary. Have hotel bookings in all the destinations where you say you are going to stay. Now, you don't have to pay for this hotel bookings, that booking sites that allow you book on hold and then you pay at a later date. And of course, since you're going to be applying for your visa early enough, you would have enough time to cancel that reservation if it's not your ideal, the ideal place you want to stay, or in case your visa application is denied, but you want to do it early. So you want to show details of what you plan to do. If you include this in your travel itinerary, it would take care of this particular reason. If you don't do this, your visa application will be denied for this reason. Now, another reason would be your introduction. It could either be your introduction letter or your employment letter. If you have a weak employment letter, maybe you just went and drafted something, you didn't bother going to meet the HR, because the HR in your organization, of course, is a professional who would be giving you a letter that represents the firm. So when you have a weak employment letter, okay, maybe you just went to tell somebody to just draft a letter and it looks as if it's one person that does not know how to write that wrote you a letter. You don't want to do that. Go to your HR. They usually would have a template, which most times is very brief, very professional. Write a professional letter to the embassy. Then they would introduce you, and then they would tell them what you do for the organization. They would tell them that you have an upcoming leave. They would talk about when you plan to return, and then they would vouch for you. So when you have a weak employment letter, the embassy would not believe you, because these are things that they would consider. Because most times when embassies are trying you, they're just picking up your document and looking for red flags. That's how it works. Normally they should pick up and look for reasons to give you, but they just pick up and then look for red flags. So why give it to them? Ensure that your employment letter is written, on your company letterhead, and then it's signed by the head, of the admin or HR, whoever is responsible for issuing such letters. And it includes like a phone number or an email where the embassy can contact that person or contact the office in case they want to verify the source of that letter. So your employment letter, or your introduction letter can be a reason why your visa application would be denied. Now, another reason why your visa was denied was because your home ties, was weak. Your proof of home ties was weak. Now, if the embassy suspects that you will overstay, they will not grant you a visa, because when you say you're applying for a temporary visa, you're saying that I am coming here short term to spend time, and once I am done, I will go back to my home country. But when they can look and see that you don't have any strong ties to your home country, anything that you have going, for example, you have a life, they want to see that life you have is solid, And because of that, you're not going to leave, abandon that life and come to their country and not go back. As in, strong ties is the reason why your visa application will be denied. And that's why I always tell people, you ask me, what are the samples of strong ties? What ways can I show that I have strong ties? You just show proof of, if you have a job, that's a tie. If you show investment that you have in your home country, let's say proof of properties that you own, proof of investment that you own in your home country, proof that your family is there, you have, parents that you take care of, you have a family, you have children, you have a husband. Those are proof of ties. Those are things that tie you to your country, and these are the things that you should provide documents to show that, yes, I have this going in my home country, and because of that, I'm going to come back home because what I have at home is solid. So that is what you're trying to prove when showing strong ties. Now, another thing would be that your cover letter did not match your documents, which is why most times you hear me stress, about inconsistent information. When you have documents, you're saying one thing in your letter, whereas the document you are presenting says something completely different. It becomes a problem because it's a case of, okay, so which one do we believe? So you want to ensure that your cover letter is actually explaining your documents and not the other way around. You have to, when you have documents together, ensure that your cover letter addresses everything. For example, let's say you're trying to explain a huge sum of money that came into your bank account. Your cover letter should say, okay, I have attached two bank statements, or I've attached one bank statement from XYZ bank showing my salary that is paid on a monthly basis to this account. You would also, find on pages, list the page that this sum of money was received on this day and this day, which represents rental income that I get on the property that I own. Find attached documentary evidence that I own this property. So your cover letter, must actually be consistent with the documents that you have attached. So don't just have documents that say something else and then a cover letter that says something completely different. Make it work, make it work, and make all parts work as a whole. So I hope that helps you. Now, another reason would be that maybe you applied to the wrong country. What do I mean? You must apply most times when you're applying to the Schengen countries, because once one embassy, one country gives you a visa, you can use that visa and visit every other member state, which there are almost 30 of them. So what that means is that most times people always get confused, which country should I apply to? Most times it would depend on, people would apply to countries where they know they would land first, or the country where you would spend the most time. You are free to decide what that is, but show an itinerary that involves the country that you are planning to. For example, if I'm going to Spain, why would I be applying to France and then I don't show anything that tells the embassy that I'm going to be spending time in France? Well, you don't want to do that. If you're going to Spain but you want to apply to France, yes, you can say, okay, because France has there's an Air France, there's a flight that goes directly from my country to France, so I would take that flight. So I'm applying to you because I'm going to be landing in France, and then I'm going to spend like 5 days before I continue my journey to Spain. So that's, because if you're going to Spain, you're going to Spain and then you're going to apply to, let's say, the German embassy and saying you're going to Spain, they will reject your visa application. So that's a reason. If you apply to the wrong country, your visa application will be denied. So you want to apply to the country where you'll be spending the most time, your main destination, or the destination where you just maybe for convenience, purpose, destination where you're going to be making your first stop, or that's tallies with your itinerary. So these are things that you need to consider, because if you fail to do the right thing, your visa application will be denied. Now, even if you have been rejected, now don't worry. You can actually reapply and provide the correct documents. Yes, it is possible to be rejected, and then you reapply, clarifying whatever reason that they gave for that rejection, providing more documents or better documents that explains your case better. There's a video I did where I talked about what you can do if your visa application is denied. I'm going to include the link here so you can go watch that video and then you decide what you should do. But my recommendation would be to reapply and then provide better documents that explains the purpose of your trip and other information that the embassy may require to determine that you have genuine intention. So I hope that this video was useful. Don't just keep it to yourself. Send it to that person who also wants to apply for a visa, or who has been rejected before, but you want the person to be successful at this. Now, if you do require visa support service, I offer that service. I can help you review your visa application documents. I can answer the questions that you have, but you have to sign up for that service. I would include the link here so you can go read about the services that I offer. You get a one-on-one session with me, and then we've had testimonies, of people who have signed up for that service and then got their visa granted. So take advantage of it. Don't wait to be denied before you come sign up for it. Do it now. And I hope that this video was useful. I wish you the best outcomes. Have a good day. Bye.